everyone, it's Matt, and today I will be showing you something special, and that something is this, my lightsaber, my custom hand-built lightsaber. So I recently went to Disneyland and visited Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, the new Star Wars themed land there. And at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, they have a shop called Savi's Workshop, where you can build your very own lightsaber, just like this one, with your own parts, or more accurately, parts that you choose, and in a variety of colors as well. They even have a little show of sorts that you get involved in during the building process. And while it is not cheap at $200 plus tax, I found the experience to be very, very enjoyable. And the lightsaber itself does seem to be quite high quality, very durable and heavy, made of metal. And so today I'm just going to be showing you the lightsaber, how it was built, and basically just telling you what the experience was like. So I hope you enjoy it. So Savi's Workshop, where you build the lightsabers, is, as you might expect, especially for a newly opened area of Disneyland, quite popular and crowded. So you do have to get reservations ahead of time. That said, I found it fairly easy to get reservations, as long as you don't wait until too late in the day. But I got my reservation, and I went to Disneyland, and I will say that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is a very, very cool place. If you are a fan of Star Wars, I would highly recommend going there if and when you get the chance. Though the land itself is not based on any well-known planets from Star Wars like Tatooine or anything. It is its own thing called the planet of Batuu. And even though it's not quite something you recognize from the movies, I found it very interesting and fun to be in anyway. But anyway, so Savi's Workshop is actually an unmarked building. There is no sign that says Savi's Workshop or custom lightsabers or anything like that. It's just a building with a banner on the side of it that looks, or has a symbol that looks a little bit like a lightsaber. But if you're not quite sure where it is, you will have to either look at the map or ask someone, and this is where the fun begins. It is unmarked because, I guess, on the planet Batuu, there is a presence of the First Order, who have either banned lightsabers or outlawed the, I guess, black market creation of them. So, even if you go up to the building and ask them what the place is, they will not tell you. What they will say instead is that they sell scrap metal. And even if you ask them if they sell lightsabers, they will say or do something along the lines of, no, we don't sell lightsabers. We only sell scrap metal. So there's a fun bit of role-playing that they do there. But anyway, once you show up, you can say you have a reservation, and they will check you in. And when you check in, they ask you what kind of lightsaber you'd like to build, or more specifically, what affiliation you would like to have. And there are 4 different choices for your affiliation. There is peace and justice, which is kind of the Jedi way of doing things. And with peace and justice, you get parts that look very much like my lightsabers, kind of the shiny, chrome-like, silver, metallic parts. Kind of the standard lightsaber, the thing you probably think of when you think of a lightsaber. control, which is the Sith style of lightsaber, kind of a darker metal with reds and so on. Elemental nature, which has lots of wood tones and things like that. And protection and defense, which is, I guess, supposed to be like lightsabers from the Old Republic. And so I went with, as you already know, peace and justice, but when you choose an affiliation, they actually give you a pin. And so this is the pin for peace and justice, and there's a different pin for each affiliation. But they tell you to put these pins on, and what the pins do is when you do the actual experience, when your reservation time comes up, and you go into Savi's workshop, the employees there who help you build do not have to ask you your affiliation. They will look at your pin and know which parts to give you, which is kind of a neat little thing. And on top of it, of course, you do get a souvenir pin, so that's nice. So once you go in to Savi's workshop, that is when the show or experience of sorts begins. And so I'm going to switch camera angles and take apart the lightsaber so I can show you what it was like to build it from scratch. Here we go. So, when the experience starts, the employees begin by apologizing for being so secretive and rushing you through everything, and explain that, as you might have suspected, they do not actually sell scrap metal, but instead lightsabers, and they are there to help people join the resistance and fight against the First Order with their very own lightsabers. Though this kind of contradicts with the option to build a Sith lightsaber, try not to think too hard about it. It's still part of the fun. But anyway, they begin with that little spiel, and then go on to talk about the heart of every lightsaber. And that is what we have right here, the Kyber Crystal. And these Kyber Crystals power every lightsaber. And so at Savi's workshop, they actually offer 4 different colors of Kyber Crystal, though you can actually purchase different options in another store if you want to change the color of your lightsaber afterwards. And those colors are blue, like I have here, green, violet, and red. And they go on to explain the meaning of each color and list off various well-known figures that use them. For example, for blue, they mentioned Obi-Wan Kenobi and Rey. And for red, they mentioned figures like, of course, Darth Vader. And so after they go over all the colors, they tell you to close your eyes and search deep within yourself to determine which color is calling out to you. Now, my decision for blue was not quite that deep. I just liked how it looked the best. But after you close your eyes and you reopen them, they are all walking around with containers full of glowing Kyber crystals. They don't glow on their own, but in the container that they give them to you in, they do glow. So you choose your Kyber crystal and you place it on a little pedestal in front of you. And so, once you have your Kyber crystal, they, as I mentioned earlier, look at your affiliation and bring out the lightsaber parts, as you see here. And they tell you to start with this, the core of the lightsaber. I don't remember if there's a special name that they gave it, but I think of it as the core of the lightsaber. And as you can see, there's a spot here where the blade goes in. This here at the bottom is the speaker and where the batteries go. And in the middle is where you put your Kyber crystal. So let me put that here, you're gonna have to prop this part open and then stick it in. And as you heard, when I put the crystal near there, it does have a sort of RFID chip or something in there where once it recognizes the crystal, it plays a sound and lights it up, and it'll stay like that for the duration of the building process. Unless you take too long, I do think it turns off after like 5 or 10 minutes just to save battery. But you should be done by that point, especially because the next step is to put on the activation plates in the middle that kind of cover up the crystal. So we will do that next. And though you might be thinking to yourself that this is not a lot of parts to choose from, these are only the parts that I chose. For each section, there's either 2 or 4 different options you have per affiliation. But anyway, the activation plates are here, and they are basically just the 2 halves of the section that lets you switch the lightsaber on and off. And I liked how this kind looked the most, so I took the activation plates and attached them to the center. As you can see, there is a blue square here and a red square here, and you match those up with the squares on the middle here, you'll see. So let me take this here and put it on. This has the blue square, so I will line it up with the blue square here. And you're just gonna push it in and it latches in place. And then for the other side, you just line up the red square. This is the part with the switch, as you can see. Let me put this down for a sec. So when you move the switch, it moves apart internally. And I imagine there's something in here. Yeah, I think something up here where it tells the lightsaber to turn on. Maybe. I don't know exactly. But anyway, it goes on here. And so I have the activation plates on. Next up, they tell you to choose 2 grips out of 4 available grips. And so these are the 2 grips I chose. You can actually put them on either end. The way I built it, I had this part over here and this part over here, but you can switch them around. As long as the thick band here is the part that is up against the activation plate. So let's put these parts on. Just screw it on like this. And the same with the other side. And then next up, they tell you to put an emitter on. Though it doesn't really matter whether you do the emitter or the pommel first. I did the emitter first. And this is the emitter I chose. So let's screw that on. And now that's on. And the last piece to go on, of course, is the pommel. So let's screw that on here. This one's a little squeaky, so I'm trying not to make too much lightsaber. So now we have the completed lightsaber in all its glory. And once you complete the lightsaber, they have you put it on a little pedestal in front of you. And the employees come around, and what they do is they kind of check it and make sure it's tight. They kind of twist all the parts into place if they're not already tight. And then they flip the on-off switch to see if they get the right sound out of it. And once they get that sound, they stick the lightsaber in what I believe they called the activation chamber in front of you. Just kind of a little slot or hole at the edge of your building table. And they twist it in there, and it stays there just like that. And they go on a little spiel about how this part is very dangerous, so you need to take a step back. They actually point out a bunch of holes in the ceiling where things went wrong and blasts of energy caused damage. So they kind of hype this part up, and right as they're getting into their spiel, the lights dim and the room kind of turns green, and you hear the disembodied voice of Yoda talking about the Force and the lightsabers and how he sees that you're all ready to begin your journey with this lightsaber, or something along those lines. I don't remember the exact script, but that was the vibe I got from it. And so, persuaded by Yoda that we are all ready, the employees say, okay, I guess it's time to activate your lightsaber. And what they have you do is they have you walk up, all put your hands on your hilts at once, and at the same time, activate your lightsaber. And at this point, you find out that the activation chamber is not just a little slot where they put it in, put the lightsaber in. It is actually where the blade is hidden. And so what happens is, when they put it in the activation chamber, they're actually screwing the blade in, like so. And so, when you turn on the lightsaber, as you might expect, it lights up the chamber that it's in, which has kind of a frosted glass type covering over it. And so the entire chamber lights up in the color you chose, and it looks really cool. And everyone's lightsaber lights up at once. The little frosted glass looking part opens up, and you can take your lightsaber out and swing it around. And music from Star Wars plays and everything, and it's very grand and epic and enjoyable, and everyone has a huge smile on their face. But yeah, I really did enjoy this experience. And even though $200 is a lot of money for what is ultimately a toy, at the end of the day, it's a little more than that. It's an experience, and it's a toy that looks and feels good. And if you're a Star Wars fan, you probably already know whether or not you actually want to spend the money on one of these. And for me, the answer was obvious. So let's go into the dark. I'll just show you a bit more about my lightsaber. And here's the lightsaber in all its glory. As you can see, it is very, very bright. Though it's not quite as much of a bright white in person. It becomes a bit whiter on camera, but it still looks very nice, even in person. And it does react to you moving it around in terms of the sounds it makes, and will even make sort of a zapping sound if you hit it up against something hard enough. I would not necessarily advise hitting things too hard with this, because I'm not sure how delicate it is, but I did see a video on it seems fairly durable as long as you're not going crazy with it. But since it makes some interesting sounds, I'll try putting it up to your ears, and you can let me know if you like that. If you do, maybe I'll make a video with more of the sound. And so yeah, that's the lightsaber. And when you finish building, they do give you a carrying case that slings over your shoulder. Though I don't have it on camera here for you. But yeah, I really did enjoy building a lightsaber. And I enjoy having this piece of Star Wars memorabilia. So I hope you enjoyed watching me build and play with it. And I will see you next time.